All right, if you're an RF technician, you know the feeling. You've been there, right? Chasing a ghost in your network. It's a problem that crushes data rates, kills capacity, and then vanishes the second you think you've got it pinned down. Well, that ghost has a name, and it's passive intermodulation, or PIM. And in this series, we're going to give you everything you need to hunt it down for good. And we're going to do this right. Let's get this out of the way up front. This is the first part of a deep dive 10-part series. And we're not just making this up. It's all based on a super practical, field-tested guide from the real experts over at RFI Detectives, who are part of Virtualization Options LLC. We're starting right where they do, with Chapter 1, The Absolute Fundamentals. So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to talk about PIM, as that super elusive problem you've definitely run into. Then, we'll nail down what it actually is. After that, we'll cover why it's a bigger deal now than ever before. And finally, we'll lay out how this whole series is going to get you completely up to speed. Okay, so let's jump right in. The elusive network problem. That's a perfect way to put it, isn't it? PIM is the silent performance killer. And you know what? It's lurking in pretty much every cellular network out there. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The guide we're using calls PIM, quote, one of the most challenging and often misunderstood issues. And that is not an exaggeration. The key word there is misunderstood. It's a huge headache for everyone, but because it's so misunderstood, it's constantly getting misdiagnosed. And this is the part that gets to the absolute heart of the matter. PIM is not some external signal messing with your site. It's not another transmitter bleeding over. The whole mind-bending thing is that your own system is creating the interference. The network is literally poisoning itself. And that's what makes it so incredibly frustrating to track down. So if the network is making its own interference, what are we actually talking about here? Let's put a real definition to it. What exactly is passive intermodulation? Okay, here's the official technical definition. PIM is unwanted interference that gets generated when high-power RF signals mix together inside passive components, things that shouldn't be creating signals at all, that have what are called nonlinear characteristics. Now, nonlinear sounds fancy, but you can just think of it as any imperfect connection or material. That's it. And this is probably the single most important thing to get straight in your head. Regular, active interference comes from the outside world. PIM as an inside job. It's born from the very hardware that you install and maintain every single day. And that's why you can't just point a spectrum analyzer at the sky and expect to find it. So you're probably asking, okay, where is this nonlinearity hiding? Well, it's in all the stuff you handle every day. We're talking loose or corroded connectors, cables that have been damaged, aging antennas. It can even be something as simple as a rusty bolt on the tower or a piece of metal flashing near an antenna. Those things can become little PIM factories. All right, so we get what PIM is and kind of where it comes from, but why are we talking about it so much now? Why has it suddenly become this absolutely critical issue for every network? This chart really sums it all up. You've got the what it is, that mixing of signals and passive parts. You've got why it matters, because it directly torpedoes capacity and data rates. And then you have the key challenge. And this is what makes you want to pull your hair out. It's sneaky. It can come and go with temperature, power levels, even the wind. And here's the bottom line, the real-world result. PIM creates noise. It actually raises the entire noise floor of your system. And when that noise floor comes up, the receiver has a harder time hearing the good signal. It's like trying to have a conversation in a really loud room. And that translates directly to slower data, fewer people getting good service, and a bunch of unhappy customers. And here is the real kicker. With 5G, this whole problem is on a different level. 5G networks are built for insane speeds and low latency. PIM is a direct threat to that whole promise. And that's why finding and fixing PIM, it's not just a nice-to-have skill anymore. For a modern RF tech, it is absolutely essential. So that brings us to the big question, what do we do about it? How do we go from being frustrated by this problem to actually being the solution? Well, that's what this whole series is about. Over the next 9 parts, we're going to walk you through the entire process. We started with the basics today, but trust me, we're going to get deep into advanced troubleshooting, real-world fixes, and case studies you can learn from. All of it, straight from the RFI Detectives Guide. By the time we're done, you are going to have the skills and the confidence to take on any PIM problem that gets thrown at you. So the only question left is, are you ready to hunt down the hidden enemy in your network? Make sure you join us for the next part because we're going to dive even deeper into the science behind PIM.